Welcome to the Wednesday, March 26th meeting of the Lowell Conservation Commission. I'd like to start with continued business and enforcement order, 258 Varnum Ave. Do we have anybody here representing the property?
Yes.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, doing well. I heard.
Burge.
Nice to meet you, Robert. Thanks for coming in. Cool. I heard you recently acquired the property.
Yes, late July of 2024.
Okay. Are you aware of the outstanding order?
So we started in there immediately,
Yeah.
cleaning the property. It was a foreclosed property. It had quite a few violations.
Sure.
Interior and outside. We've taken a total of 11 dumpsters out of that property. 16 mattresses to count. We cleaned up most of the issues with the city. We pulled a building permit to reconstruct the property on the interior. And that's where we're at. We did clean up a considerable amount of the yard area, including behind the, I guess, barn or carriage house, which is condemned by the city. We pretty much thought we had gotten the majority of the items out of there, and then I received the notification, or my attorney received the notification. So, more than willing to clean or do whatever we need to do to that property to get everything compliant.
So the latest update that we got was some photos that there was clearly, trash in the wetland area. That said, I appreciate you coming out, and certainly it seems like you've been very attentive in bringing, restoring this property. And
My company will do whatever it takes necessary to get the property compliant. We're going to keep it as a rental, so we'll be maintaining the property in good order. So,
I'm not sure what our, knowing that there's a little bit of, cleanup left to do, if there's a way to tie this to the building permit so that if there's any kind of certification, final certificate of compliance that.
or a time period that I can clean the property, you can come back and revisit.
Yeah.
Now that the snow's gone, it's very hilly in the back. I assume that's the area that you would be referring to, which is pretty much marked off by a chain link fence and the condemned building. We did go down those hills and clean a lot of the debris last fall, and then winter came in.
Sure.
I have no problem with coming back in front of the board or having my attorney notify the board once we've cleaned it. I think within a couple of weeks, we could probably pick up.
We have meetings on April 9th and April 23rd.
I see that I could have the property cleaned up. I could have the property cleaned up for April 9th.
Okay.
Have any and all debris taken out of there on the site.
Okay. Then if we can schedule an agent review.
Yep.
And,
I'm more than willing to come back on April 9th to make sure that everything was done, or I could walk with the agent on the property, what have you.
you don't need to come back here,
Okay.
I don't think. We'll get a report from them, assuming that everything looks good from their end, and we'll take their recommendation and we'd rescind that order at the next meeting.
Okay, can we, I don't know the infraction area. Is it that area down behind the building that is the biggest concern?
We can confirm the exact location on the site.
Okay.
I haven't been there myself.
Okay. Yep.
We've just seen some photos.
Sure.
So,
And some of that might have already been cleaned up. We did already go through there again. So if I could just,
Okay.
I'll have people out there next week, my guys out there next week,
great.
and we could set up a meeting a couple days before the April 9th meeting to make sure everything's been done
That would be fine.
in accordance.
So, whichever agent reached out to you to,
Okay.
notify you and ask your presence here tonight.
Came through my attorney, so I'll have Captain Flood's the attorney. I'll have Captain reach back out. We'll get a specific list of what the commission would like done,
Yes,
and we'll have that done. I don't know where the 9th, I assume the 9th again is a Wednesday night.
it is. It's
Yep.
the second Wednesday.
Maybe we could, have somebody come out on that Monday prior, either on their own or I could meet them there just to make sure everything's in good order.
That sounds totally reasonable.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, excellent.
Any other comments?
No comments.
I think that we have ratified this enforcement order, so
We just have to.
we would just continue it to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to continue this to the April 9th meeting. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Okay, and next up is our other item of continued business, a notice of intent. This is 21 Century Mill LLC at 10 Tupee Lane. We've discussed this project many times over our last several meetings.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Scott Goddard's here. How are you?
Good evening, Scott. How are you?
Good, thank you. We left this matter open at the last meeting for two reasons. One was that there was a late entry submittal for new information at the last meeting, so the commission had requested some time to look at it because it came in same day as the last hearing. And secondly, is the commission wanted an opportunity to consult with town council on logistically moving forward with respect to the settlement and such, and then also for consideration of whether we would advance into a peer review effort.
Thank you. So yes, we received some revised submissions and a lot of detail from Mr. Goddard at our last meeting. We've had a couple of weeks now to review. And we did receive some feedback as well from legal about, the potential, but their comments were very limited. Is there any further discussion from the board about their thoughts about this project?
Could you share what you see from legal? Is that possible? And then we could maybe have a conversation about the appropriateness or lack thereof of peer review.
Well, so I think in our last meeting, we took a vocal count for you. I was under the impression that kind of answered your question about whether or not you'd like to expend the energy of a peer review. There was nothing that changed my decision away from that original thought that I voiced in that vote, that voice vote. That was kind of the purpose of my questioning the other commissioners to see if they had any other changes of mind. Hearing none, I'm assuming that their opinions are similar, if not the same as well.
There was one item that we didn't discuss at the last meeting that would be really useful to bring up at this point, is to remind the commission that they issued a determination of applicability on this property, a year or so ago, that they found there to be isolated land subject to flooding as the resource area under the Act and the Lowell bylaw. There was never a challenge made to the Lowell bylaw, and so that still sits as the binding determination of the board relative to anything locally applicable. And so based on the commission's findings altogether for the site, they made a decision that they thought the resource area present at that time was something that didn't even have a buffer zone associated with it. And now we've introduced a project that goes above and beyond and introduces buffers and treats this with much more care and consideration than the resource area that the Conservation Commission found there to be present on site, ILSF. I feel like that's important to look at in light of the overall conversation of settlement. If the commission moves to deny the project, as it indicated at the last meeting, then this kind of more or less proceeds into a appeal process back to DEP, and I just feel like the town is then less present and involved in the process. So I'm here to involve the town or city rather, and my hope is that effort is recognized and received. Otherwise, it will just proceed outside of this venue. But I'm here to talk. I'm here to communicate. I'm here to discuss. And If peer review is appropriate, I'm here to also discuss that option as well.
I am not interested in changing my decisions here to satisfy the potential of, DEP changing their sway from the positions that they've taken. I don't support construction this close to the wetlands. I don't think that this project is a net benefit for the wetlands here. And,
I don't think that benefit, with due respect, is the standard by which that we're held to for review under the Wetland Protection Act.
in
The
what, in your words
standard is no adverse impact.
yeah, I think that impact and benefit can be used very much as synonyms. So perhaps we're mincing words a little bit.
Mr. Goddard?
Yes.
So that last agenda item that you're speaking of, where we denied the project. So what was the actual project that was brought forward that we denied?
Are you referring to last time this was before the commission under a notice of intent?
The one that you were just referring to.
Oh, I don't think, yeah, the only denial that I'm aware of that the commission ever acted on the site was a notice of intent that was filed by a different entity some years ago, maybe 5 years ago, something of that nature.
To bring you up to speed, the project that we denied was a single house to be built on this property. You're proposing 3 houses to be built
Correct.
on this property. So that is why, personally, myself will be voting no on this project.
Okay. I think at this point, we've kind of gone around on this. I think would like to request that we close the public hearing unless there's a request for any additional information by any members of the commission.
I have every intention of allowing the residents to say anything new that they have if they do. Anyone?
My name is Mark Burns. My wife and I own 24 Newbridge Road. It butts 2P Lane. We sent many videos and pictures to the state, city, on how the water builds up on the side of our yard and also in the back of our yard. That's water takes the path of least resistance, and that goes to 10 2P Lane, and then it goes underneath Newbridge Road. This project is going to put like a barrier between my yard and his yard. That's going to keep water in my yard and affect the neighbors behind me, to the side of me, and probably even my own property. Also, with this project with the driveway, what happens when it snows? Does he throw the snow into the wetlands? Does he throw the snow into my land? When it rains, does it go into the wetlands or into my yard? What about the chemicals and stuff from the salt in the road and stuff? Where does that go? Another thing is, what happens if they want to expand their yards? What are they going to do? Cut down more trees, make more lawn, use more weed killers, fertilizers? Where does that all go? Those are all things like that. Another thing is right before late November, when I wanted to expand my driveway, it was just another like 400 square feet. I wanted to do that with the asphalt, but I did not do that. One of the comments from the city was, well, this project is 65 feet from the boundary, from the wetlands, and if that asphalt driveway was going to affect negatively the wetlands, maybe I should just park my car in the street. And the area that I was going to have done is just lawn, not trees, not bushes, not stones, boulders. His project is going to be tearing up the trees, boulders, digging trenches for all the utilities with backhoes, bulldozers, cement trucks. Doesn't make sense. Just let you know. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Paul Alasha, 17 Tupee Lane. I just had one question. Back in 2017 or 18, I believe, when the first NOI was filed, Mr. Goddard stated that was a different entity. And so Mr. Goddard has nothing to do with that first NOI or the owner of that property, or is he representing the owner of the property now and filing a different NOI under 21 Century LLC? That's my only question.
I'm not really privy to the owner information here or in the other case. Scott, would you care to?
Yeah, that was a different one.
According to the plan that Mr. Goddard did submit, Mr. Burns is on that plan, on the lot plan. Mr. Arnold and Romaine are on the lot plan. And the previous owner, Mr. Viola, is on that lot plan. Mr. Viola is the person that filed that first NOI, which was denied. Is Mr. Viola still the owner? Who is, I mean, is this
No.
just something that is brought up?
No.
That's my only question. I just,
Mr. Viola,
is that a mistake on the plan?
Mr. Viola was the applicant in 2017 and is no longer the owner.
Okay, so that is a mistake on the plan.
I think it's a semantic mistake. Moving on.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? It's okay, we have time.
I'm the Blue House, my husband and I, on Tupee Lane. Has anybody bothered to go, well, I shouldn't say it that way. I wonder if anybody has gone down that street to see that land and all the water that's coming out of it into our properties. If he comes in and he's going to dig everything up, we're going to be flooded out, mud everywhere. Like I said before, we were told that that was wetland and they would never allow anybody to build there. 30 years. We're elderly now. Everybody on that street is elderly. I just don't think it's fair or right to have this done. That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody online? With the end of public comments, anybody want to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a choice here of approving or denying the plans as presented. Or requesting additional information. We need a motion here first, but happy to entertain a roll call vote, yes.
So I'll make a motion to deny the notice of intent on 10 Tupee Lane.
We should provide some distinct language as to why this denial is occurring. So, in my opinion, it would be a negative impact to these wetlands. While it is not a bylaw of the Lowell Conservation Commission, it is a standard that we uphold, that we do not expect or allow construction within a 25-foot buffer I'm not confident in the wetlands boundary, and I think that additional study should be done for that as well. And I don't agree with the determination of the allowance to treat this finger-like projection of the wetland as replicable.
You got all that? Yeah, okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor, a roll call?
Chairman Boudinais.
Aye, in favor.
So that is yes, right? Yes.
Yeah, I can go left or right, that's fine. So Commissioner Ciccarelli?
Not in favor of the project, in favor of
Yep, of the motion.
the motion.
Yes.
Commissioner Belay?
I'm not in favor of the project.
Sweet.
Yes.
Commissioner Dillon?
Yes.
Chairman Boudinais?
Yes.
Commissioner Downs?
Yes.
Commissioner Laput?
Yes.
I expect that this will not be the last time that we discuss this project. But the notice of intent has been denied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, everybody. Night after night, I appreciate you. A few other items of other business, the 226 meeting minutes.
Questions, comments? Motion to approve?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And what do you need from us to sign?
Just make a.
You guys can just use the language from the agenda. Right now, only Fran can, so every time we have a lot of projects, it just doesn't really make sense logistically.
I'll make a motion to authorize all conservation agents to sign on behalf of the commissioners.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One other thing before we adjourn, the project that we just heard, 10 Tupi Lane, I very much expect for this to be challenged and appealed to the DEP. The process for that would be, part of that lawsuit between Mr. Goddard and the DEP. I'm not sure the best way for us to maintain most current information, but I would appreciate putting in the record that at least while it is continuing, until that item is closed, that we are briefed with the latest information as it's presented. I expect that would happen either way, whether I asked for it or not, but just wanted to put it out there. So thank you. Do you have anything for us? Okay. Anybody got something for him?
I have some other business. Last night, at the city council meeting, there was talks about a tree committee being made throughout the city, and I heard from one of the councilors that a lot of the liability falls on the Conservation Commission when it comes to trees. And I just wanted to set the record straight that we focus on the Wetlands Protection Act. So anything that would come within 100 feet of a wetland is our purview. We wouldn't be, say a tree is going to be cut down up on top of Fort Hill, that would be outside our designation. Anyone else?
Yeah,
have any
the
comments?
tree warden of the city of Lowell is also the DPW commissioner.
So, Paul?
Yeah, regarding what you were just talking about, it pretty, the cutting down of the trees pretty much falls on National Grid. in the way they go about doing it. But there was mention of possibly an arborist. So I don't know if we spoke about this on this board, but city manager mentioned something about an arborist that will work for the city and for us. So I don't know if that's something that.
Well, there was a speaker last night, Brian. He was speaking in favor of the city hiring an arborist, and I'm in 100% agreement. I think we need an actual arborist who works for the city, who can go out and actually assess certain trees instead of just sending the DPW out there to cut down trees. It'll behoove the city, liability-wise. Say a tree falls and damages property, or even worse, a tree falls and kills someone. If we had an arborist who could actually assess these trees and make the right cuts, it would be very beneficial for the city.
I agree.
Sounds like I should go review some city council videos. I don't know. If anybody has any other thoughts for the next meeting, feel free to bring this up again. I'll watch the video.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard people say that it falls on the Conservation Commission. And like you said, it actually falls on the director of the DPW because we do not have a tree warden, which I believe is all the more reason that we need a tree warden, said arborist, on the working for the city.
Thank you. Final words?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Re-